My goal for this presentation is to give you an idea of the major countries that participate in uranium mining and the major mines within those countries. Next slide. The numbers depend greatly on how they're defined, such as known recoverable uranium versus uranium production or use of uranium. The numbers shown here are from uranium production. If you go into the largest amount of recoverable uranium, Australia has that amount. For the purpose of this short presentation, I will stop at Namibia and will only cover the top 4 countries. Next. These are the 10 companies that make up 89% of uranium mining production. As you can see, Areva, owned by France, is the #1 uranium mining company. What's interesting to note is that France has 59 reactors and depends largely on nuclear power, but doesn't have any known uranium resources within their country. Next. I'll start my presentation on Canada. You can see from this map that Saskatchewan province currently holds all of Canada's major uranium mines. Canada was the world's largest uranium producer for many years, accounting for 22% of the world total output until 2009, when Kazakhstan overtook them. About 15% of Canada's electricity is nuclear power. Next. This is an example of propaganda that can be seen in Saskatchewan region, which is rich not only in uranium but other resources such as copper and gold and diamonds. It's a heavily mining rich part of Canada. Next. McArthur River Mine is located in the northern part of Saskatchewan region province and is the largest producing mine in the world. Other large mines in Canada include McLean Lake and Rabbit Lake. This picture shown here is an aerial image of McArthur River from Google Earth. Next slide. There are various stances on uranium mining depending on what region you are in Canada. The Saskatchewan government considered phasing out uranium mining in the 1990s, but decided against it because a large portion of the population depends on jobs. In order to alleviate environmental concerns, they completed an international ISO 14001 environmental certification. This is it's an environmental certification, but it's one in which they regulate themselves and create it themselves, so it's a little worrisome in that they might skew the results. There is also several moratoriums in Canada. Bear with me, the Nasibut is an autonomous region. They started a moratorium in 2008, which is actually up tomorrow. With that moratorium, the uranium mining companies were still allowed to explore the region in order to find uranium deposits. And so in the 3 years, they found at least 5 other deposits that they want to mine. So the government is under extreme pressure to end that moratorium. Other concerns in the Saskatchewan region include water contamination and health risks associated with uranium mining, in addition to a lack of agreement on how much benefits from uranium mining go back to the community where the uranium mining is conducted. Next. Australia is thought to have the highest quantity of economic uranium in the world. In 1945, the country showed an increase in demand for uranium as nuclear weapons demand increased. And then in the 1970s, they had another exponential growth as the demand for nuclear power increased. It's interesting to note that Australia does not have any nuclear power. The 3 major mines in Australia include Ranger, Olympic Dam, and Beverly. Ranger was the 2nd largest producing mine in the world in 2009. Ranger is located in an excised area amongst extensive wetlands, and in that area there is seasonal flooding that underlines the concerns about leaks and spills of the uranium tailings. One incident which attracted widespread attention occurred in 2004, where 150 workers were exposed to drinking water containing uranium levels 400 times greater than the Australian safety standard. The Roxby Downs deposit is an underground and open cut mine. Currently there are 70 to 80 million tons of tailings on an on-site dump, some of which have been reported to be overflowing from lined pits. And 30 million liters of water from the Great Artesian Basin is used daily for this mine. This has greatly affected the ecology within this basin. And then finally, Beverly is located in a region with a large population of Aboriginals. They use a divide and conquer tactic to make the Aboriginals agree to have uranium mining in their region. Next. As the price of uranium increases, so does the pressure to begin new mines. The mining companies, like I said earlier, ignore Aboriginal concerns and use not only bribery but also threats and false information to encourage them to have uranium mines in their region. On March 10, 2006, the Australian newspaper reported on documents obtained by the Freedom of Information legislation that the state mines need urgent improvements in radioactive waste management and protection, and a call for government regulators to encourage changes in this area. Australia is also one place where the entire world wants to put not only their uranium tailings but also the spent fuel rods after the nuclear process. Next. Namibia is also another country that has a lot of uranium. Rossing was the first commercial mine within Namibia and opened in 1976. The mine is an open pit hard rock mine. The workers at this mine are currently on strike in order to fight for wages that they didn't receive for working more hours. The company recently published an environmental impact report in order for an expansion of the mine that calls for an increase in waste rock disposal capacity and tailings disposal capacity, as well as an establishment of an acid heap leaching facility. Langer Heinrich, another mine, is the second largest uranium mine in Namibia and is a hard rock mine mill with an alkaline bleaching circuit. The major problems in Namibia are the water that the uranium mining consumes, as it's in a desert region, and it uses a lot of the water that can be given to a lot of the people in the region that need water. Another concern is that Iran owns 15% of the stake in the Rossing uranium mine. In June, the UN sanctioned adopted bans on the sale of any stakes in uranium mines to Iran, so they're trying to figure out if they can take the stakes that Iran has in the Rossing mine away or not. Next slide. Further information, the World Nuclear Association has a lot of good figures, even though you have to take them with a grain of salt, and WISE Uranium is a database that compiles all of the news articles and everything on all the uranium mines around the world. Thank you. And now Marina is going to talk about Kazakhstan.